State Auditor Cindy Byrd warned this month the federal government could make the state of Oklahoma shell out anywhere between $235 million to $250 million because of administrative errors in its Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. Sometimes people call it food stamps. During the fiscal year of 2024, 686,600 people were on SNAP in Oklahoma. That's 1 in 6 Oklahomans using SNAP each month to help feed themselves. In Oklahoma grocery stores alone, they spent more than $1.5 billion in a single year. Joining us to speak about how the state can clean up its SNAP program before it must deal with a heavy fine is State Auditor Cindy Byrd. In-depth anchor Rick Marinon is on assignment tonight, but before he left, he spoke with Byrd unedited about if things can get back on the right track quickly.
Back on the program is State Auditor Cindy Byrd to speak unedited about multiple topics, but let's talk about the big one, SNAP. You sent out a warning earlier this month that the federal government could be cutting off some of our benefits. What exactly would you say the problem is for the folks at home who didn't see your news conference?
Well, it was a call to action because we have 8 months and counting to get this problem resolved, or it will cost Oklahoma taxpayers $235 million. So the issue at hand is a new bill that was passed at the federal level that says for states that have an error rate in excess of 6%, that state will have to start paying a portion of their SNAP funding. So right now, the federal government pays 100% of the SNAP benefits. The state of Oklahoma is responsible for 25% of the administration cost, and the federal government also pays 75% of that. So going forward, this new legislation is going to require Oklahoma to pay 50% of the administrative cost, which will now be $34.5 million, in addition to what we were already paying. And they're telling us because we have an error rate of 10.9%, if that doesn't get to 6% by October 1st, Oklahomans will be on the hook to pay $235 million of that SNAP funding.
Is that going to be included in this state's budget, or would that be just a shocker we would have to deal with next legislative session?
It would be the next legislative session, but what's important to note is $235 million is a lot of money, right? Yeah. And so that is, to put that into perspective, that's almost double what we spent on public safety last year, or what we budgeted for public safety. So this is a concern. If that is not corrected, we only have one budget, one pie. It means that it could cut into money that's budgeted for education, for infrastructure, roads and bridges, or even public safety. And we need to make sure we're taking care of the money.
With everything that is in the news, when I hear the term high error rate, I'm thinking fraud. Does that necessarily mean fraud is happening, or is this just paperwork kind of sloppily filled out kind of thing?
So it doesn't necessarily mean fraud.
Okay.
Error rate means the overpayments and the underpayments, and it could mean some fraud. So overpayments would be payments made to individuals in excess of what they were really eligible for. Same thing with underpayments, not paying someone what they truly qualified for. And there may be some elements of fraud that are found as well. What's very important about this specific program, the State Auditor's Office is required to audit eligibility for every other federal program that comes into Oklahoma except for SNAP. The USDA at the federal level specifically excludes the eligibility portion and allows DHS to self-audit that piece. So my call to action was, hey, this is a $235 million looming liability. Let's get some more hands and eyes on this and see if we can't get this corrected.
Is this able to be cleaned up without people losing their access to food?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So as early as 2017, Oklahoma had an error rate of 6%. We can get back there. So just to throw out some numbers for you, prior to COVID, Oklahoma was spending around $820 million a year in SNAP benefits. During COVID, it peaked at $2 billion, and right now it's right around $1.6 billion. So we have seen an increase in benefits being paid out, but we can still get that error rate back to where we were in 2017.
Is there, since this is errors and there are some underpayments, are some families not getting as much money for food as they should be?
Well, that is included into the calculation. I think that is more rare than the overpayments.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that individuals are getting the assistance that they need and getting them back on their feet so that, you know, we can even draw back some of the entitlement programs.
You had talked about you had reached out to DHS. Have they responded to your request to, hey, I'm here to help?
Yes, Director Cartmell did send me a letter and an email and ask for our suggestions on what we could provide. So we're working through that. We're going to have him some solutions very quickly on how we could help him. And then again, it will be up to DHS to send us a letter to invite us in, because the state auditor's office cannot just initiate any project like this.
This sounds like such a heavy lift with such a short amount of time. How fast can you get this corrected and in compliance?
Well, we have no time to waste, but it can be done. And I believe there are good people who work at DHS who truly want to do the right thing. We just need to get them the resources they need to make this program successful.
Let me ask you on another topic, since you're up the turnpike. Tulsa Public Schools has been examined by your office before, and we have heard there was a part 1. Where are we at on part 2?
We are currently working on that. It is an active investigation, so I don't really like to comment on that or give a timeline, because whenever we're out here auditing, we may discover something that may lead to something else. But right now, tentatively, in the next few months, we should have that completed.
Can you tell us the window you're looking into? This isn't current administration, is that correct?
No, this piece of the audit that we are continuing with is something that we found during the audit of Tulsa Public Schools, that now we're doing a deeper dive into it.
Okay. I know this is, man, time has flown, but you are term limited at the end of this for state auditor, and I'm wondering, what happens to everything? You know, you've got investigations to everybody. Do you have to wrap it up by December? Is this going to be like a blowout sale of December comes around and you're like, hey, I got this, and this, and look at all of this? What happens at the end of this year?
Well, I would encourage the voters of Oklahoma to choose wisely for their next state auditor, someone who will fight as valiantly as I have for their tax dollars. And whenever that transition comes, I will make sure the next person is prepared with what we're working on. But we have the Turnpike Authority audit that will be coming out hopefully very soon. We have some municipal audits that we're still working on. And then, of course, we have our federal audit that we will have come out probably the end of April, I think. So we have some really big audits still in the pike. So you'll still be hearing from me. I'll still be working hard until the end.
Can some of that continue into the next auditor's term, or I imagine some of it would have to?
Yes, so audits are always ongoing. And don't forget, I'm putting out 350 audits a year. My team and I are always busy putting audits out. So it's just a revolving cycle of starting those audits and bringing them to completion.
Now, here's something that I don't know if fear is the right word, but something I do wonder about is, you're working on something, your successor comes in, can they cut that off in investigation, or are they legally required to continue that?
No, so that's a very good question. So even though we call them audit requests, they're really audit mandates. And when someone gives us an audit request, we are required by statute to complete it and publish a report.
State Auditor Cindy Byrd, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.